Warning, this episode of Temperamental with Lisa Foiles may feature disturbing images and terrifying topics such as demonic boxes, human flesh, and homeowners associations. Viewer discretion is advised. A ghost did that. A ghost did that. Welcome to episode 60, everybody. It's our spooky haunted museum special. I feel like every episode of Temperamental is now like a special. Like we had the Halloween special. Dude, Halloween is over and I wore so many costumes. My skin is so broken out because I had like crazy makeup on like every single day of October. Like I could not stop dressing up. Kitty, you can come back. I know that Boba Fett, or no, Din Djarin scared you. Oh, now you're both gone. Great. So anyway, I went to the Haunted Museum here in Las Vegas, and I'm going to talk about it. And I'm wearing these glasses because that's what Zak Bagans, who is not a hobbit, that's what he wears. And he wears them so much, and he talks to the camera like this. And so we're going to be doing a little bit of that today. We're going to be talking about Zak Bagans, who is not a hobbit. Okay, so let me give you a little backstory. And I'm not going to show any disturbing images. That was just a disclaimer for effect, right? It was for effect. So I don't know if you've ever seen the show Ghost Adventures, but I've only seen a little bit of it. And mostly it's a group of douchebags who wear t-shirts that are way too tight and their muscles are too big, and they have really embarrassing belt buckles and backwards hats. And they say things like, today we're going to go to the most haunted island in all of Europe off the coast of Italy. And it's so motherfucking haunted that no local will step foot on it ever. And then they mostly spend like 45 minutes just asking random people if they think it's haunted. And they're like, yeah, maybe. And they're like, see, you heard it here first. The locals are fucking terrified of this island. See, 10 out of 10 people that we've harassed on the street said yes when we asked them if they thought that haunted island was haunted, even though they don't speak English. And we're going to spend the night there. So it's a lot of that, and it's a lot of shaky cam, and it's a lot of, did you hear that? Did you hear that? Did you see that? Did you hear that? And like, that's mostly the whole episode. So Zak Bagans is a dude who does that, and he has approximately 35 shows on HBO Max or something like that. And every show has like 4 seasons. Like this dude just will not stop. This dude won't stop. And through his adventures through the years, he has collected a lot of possessed and demonic and just generally like icky, yucky items from, haunted mansions and houses and graveyards and just all the places that he went in his travels that he filmed. He collected those, and he opened a museum right here in Las Vegas. And he did this in a house that is apparently also very haunted, and has a very spooky basement, and like people died there, and like people died in every room. But anyway, this opened a couple years ago, and I've always been interested in going because, your girl likes that stuff. Your girl has the, the interest in the macabre and like the dark curiosity. And I'm not saying I'm a denier in a lot of the stuff I'm talking about today, but I'm going to make fun of it. So this museum opened, and I've wanted to go for the longest time, but it is quite expensive. It's like $50 a person. And that's not even for the upgraded one, which we ended up doing. Because why not? Once you're there, let's do it. And as a local, I often don't like to pay full price for things because I'm like, eventually I'm going to know somebody who works there. It's just like going to get me in for free, right? So the time finally came where we had a friend who was like, hey, let's go to the not haunted mansion, which is funny because like all of the logos all say HM, and like the wallpaper, like so much of it looks like the haunted mansion at Disneyland. And I'm like, I know what you're doing. Selling all this creepy stuff with the H&M on it. I know what you're doing. so we went to the Haunted Museum. And let me just tell you a little bit about my experience from A to Z, because a lot happened, so I'm going to fill you in. Hopefully you like spooky stuff. I'm not going to go into like gross stuff here. This is a family-friendly podcast, despite the fact that I've already cursed like 3 times. Don't worry about that. We bleep it. It's okay. So I show up at the Haunted Museum. And they're like, cool, give me, look, here's the deal. It is spooky. I kind of went at like sunset, so the sun was kind of starting to go down, and the lights on the outside of the house were like, shining up like these red lights, and already I'm like, okay, I get it. This is like a spooky house. So let's go inside. Let's go inside the spooky house. So we go up to the dude, and we're like, we want to go in. And he's like, cool, go sit over there for 45 minutes. We're like, cool. So we go sit on a bench for 45 minutes and wait. And then eventually he calls our group. And then we go into the front area right outside the front door. And then we wait there for 25 minutes. So it's already been like over an hour. And then we go inside the little lobby where we pay for the tickets. And they got some kind of creepy stuff in the lobby. And then we wait there for another 15 minutes. So guys, we've already been here for so long. 45 plus 25, that's 40, 50, 60, that's 40, 50, 60, that's 70, plus another 20, so 80, 90, whatever I said. I don't even remember what I said. But okay, at this point, it's way longer than an hour that we've already been there. We haven't even gone inside the mansion yet. Dude, math is the scariest thing of all. Let me tell you that. So, we finally... I'm like, little WD-40 is going to fix our rep. They're like, it's cool. We like it creaky. We're going to keep it creaky. So we go into the museum, and already there's like warnings and disclaimers all over the wall. And they're like, Zak Bagans, not a hobbit, is not responsible for any demons that follow you home or any extraterrestrial events that you experience, or like paranormal poltergeist in your car, or like so many of these warnings all over the wall. And I'm like, cool, love it. It's entertainment, right? It's entertainment. It's all good. So, dude, I'm stoked. I may sound like I'm like making fun of it all, and I'm going to, but like, I love this stuff. I love it. The creepier, the better. The creepier, the better. So finally, we're like, yes, we've waited for some kind of an amount of time, because Lisa can't do the math that she said earlier. We can't do that math, but like, we waited for that amount of time, and now we're going to go into the museum. We upgraded from the normal pass to the RIP pass. Very clever. It's not the VIP pass. It's the RIP pass. I cannot even talk. It's probably the ghost. So we got the RIP pass, and that means you just get to do like extra stuff during the tour that the peasants don't get to. They don't get to go. The peasants who only paid $50 instead of the $50, $60, $70, $80, they don't. Somebody's going to be so concerned watching this episode. Like, she can't even do basic math. She's like counting on her fingers for like the simplest things. Yeah, it's a problem, but I have other skills, so it's okay. I'm doing just fine. I got the RIP pass, you got the lantern, so you go in, and already it's so spooky, guys. It's like, it's dimly lit. They got the fog machine. There's like these red lights. There's all sorts of curiosities just everywhere. I mean, everything from marionette puppets to clowns to lots of dolls. Dude, so many dolls. Right? Like, this is the Toy Story movie that I want to watch. It's just all these dolls just trying to deal with each other. All these haunted dolls just trying to, like, purge their demons and, like, do therapy sessions with each other and just try to deal with what they're dealing with as a group, as a family. That's the Toy Story that I want to see. It's funny that I just itched my eye through these glasses because I don't have lenses. Oh, it's very convenient. These are my Jocelyn glasses, by the way. My Death Battle Jocelyn glasses. Just kidding. I'm Zak Bagans, not a hobbit, and I own the Haunted Museum, and it is the scariest place on planet Earth, and no human should go inside, except you should pay me $80 and then go inside. Okay, so I pay my $80 and I'm inside. And you start going from room to room. You have the exorcism room, and then at one point they made me crawl through a very dark, small tunnel. that was supposed to be super scary. Only the VIP ticket holders got to do this. They're like, we have created this tiny dark tunnel where all of the dark energy from the exorcisms is channeled through. It's funneled through. It's funneled through like you trying to get rum into your flask to sneak it into the concert. It's like that. We have funneled the spirits just like you funnel your rum into the flask. Go ahead at your own risk. If you are brave enough, go through the tunnel. So I'm like, yeah, let's do this. But keep in mind, I was like kind of freaked out the whole time, but not like I didn't feel anything. At no point during the tour did I feel like uneasy or that like there was spirits or like something disturbed. I didn't really. It was just kind of like a general like, it's dark and I can't really see 3 feet in front of me and there's dolls staring at me. It was just a lot of that. But I'm like, let's do it. Let's go through this tunnel. And so what was supposed to be a very terrifying moment of all of us going through this tunnel was, I wish you could see with the lights on, because it was all of us just like this, like... Sorry, audio listeners, but basically, instead of crawling on our hands and knees, we all just kind of squatted down on our heels and then just kind of took little half steps through this tunnel, trying not to hit the person in front of us. Like, sorry, and then somebody runs into your butt, and you're like, I'm sorry. And it was meant to be very scary, and it was very stupid. And that's fine. Dude, let me tell you, I'm all on board with all of this. I love that this museum exists, and I love that I got to do it. So, we go from that room, we go to the exorcism, we go through the doll closet, we go through the dude who performed way too many assisted suicides, and he has like a van that he like killed a bunch of people in. So the van was there, the van was just there. We're like, okay, interesting, a van is inside the house, cool. And then they had the serial killer room where they have, I'm like so out of breath. I'm just from doing that little example of us squatting through the spirit tunnel. I'm like out of breath. Guys, I gotta start exercising more. Yeah, what was I saying? Oh yeah, the serial killer room where they have like, the John Wayne Gacy like paintings and like Robert Rodriguez, the Night Stalker, like all like his stuff, and like Ted Bundy and Marilyn Manson, Charles Manson. They had a bunch of serial killer. They had a bunch of bad stuff, right? Like here's 3 strands of Ted Bundy's hair. And you're like, oh my god, maybe it is. Is it? Here's a certificate of authenticity from the woman named Esmeralda in Georgia that I bought it from 2 years ago. I'm like, okay, that's fine. It's all good. Like they did really try to go over like above and beyond, trying to like prove that it's real. And here's our proof. That's great. That's fine. So, so we go from the serial killer room down to the basement where they perform satanic rituals, and they're like, don't slow down or else they're going to get you. And then you're seeing a pattern here, right? We're going from room to room to room to room to room to room to room. And we're getting passed off to different tour guides. We do not have the same tour guide the whole time. We had maybe like 6 or 7 tour guides. They just kept changing. They're just like, is that the same girl that was just with us in the last 2 rooms? Because she looks really different. And then we go to 2 more rooms and be like, now that's a man. So it's definitely a different tour guide. They're passing us off, which is fine. But the reason I'm saying this is because the tour is 2 hours long. A 2-hour tour. So you remember how I already told you that I was waiting outside the museum for over an hour, an undisclosed amount of time because I can't do the math. And now I'm inside the museum, and the tour is 2 hours. This is most of my day. So I gotta tell you, here's the scariest part about the Haunted Museum. I was there for so long that I started to feel like I lived there. And that was the scariest part of all. Because when you're in the location for so long, it stops being scary because of the items and the smoke and the clowns and the dolls. And then it starts to become scary because you're like, I think I'm responsible for this house now because I think I live here. I think I'm going to have to dust some of these spider webs, and I'm going to have to put out the trash. And like, what's the HOA? I'm going to have to forward my mail. I got to do dishes. I got to like change the water heater. I got to pay the bills. Like what? Oh my gosh. You just felt like you live there and now you got to do house stuff. Seriously how I felt. I've been in this house for so long. I live here. So just tell me where the towels are. Like, oh my gosh, you guys. And we were there for so long. And here's the thing. I do respect the fact that this museum doesn't really have jump scares. Okay. So if you don't like jump scares, it's not a haunted house. It's a museum. It's not a fun house. It is a museum. Do they have a fun house room with wavy mirrors and lots of clowns? Yes, they do. But it's not a fun house. It's an actual museum. And they're going to tell you before you go into every room, they're going to say, Zak Bagans is going to come on the screen and he's going to look at you with his glasses and he's going to go, now, what you're about to see in this next room is the most haunted artifact I've ever come across in all of my career. Many guests have fainted on the spot just by looking at it, and many get nosebleeds for unexplained reasons. And you're going to see it now. He says that so many times. This next item has the most haunted activities surrounding. This next item has made the most amount of people super freaked out. This next item, it's just every single room has the most haunted item ever in the whole world. At no point did he intro a room like, now, this room doesn't really have anything too spooky. It's just got like a lot of cool shit that I've collected and I want you to see it. So like, go ahead. Like there was none of that to balance it out. There was none like, this room isn't so spooky. This doll just like, it's pretty cool. Just look at that. And then we'll get back to the spooky stuff. There was none of that. Every single room was like, this is the scariest room in all of America. And you're about to go into it at your own risk. Good luck. You might die. But if you survive, you can go collect your free t-shirt, which I did. I do have a free t-shirt. So I can't tell you how many times they warned the guests that they were going to maybe get a nosebleed. Yeah, every room. You may get a bloody nose. Your ears may bleed. We've had guests bleed from the eyes. We've had guests pass out. We've had guests lay eggs. We've had guests go full chicken and just start laying eggs all over the museum. It's inexplicable. Enter at your own risk. Don't forget your free t-shirt. It just kept going like that. So yeah, there was a lot of scary stuff. They got that Dybbuk box, which I'm sure you've heard about in media, like Post Malone went in there with Zak Bagans, who's not a hobbit. And he claims he like took a spirit with him, like a demon, and then like his plane crashed or it was almost crashed. And then he was in a car accident and he was burglarized. Like all this creepy stuff started happening to him after he came into contact with this box full of demons that you shouldn't mess with. And he messed with it, and then he has demons. Okay, so that's the other thing about the museum, right? Is that I'm not really a super believer in a lot of this stuff. Like I'm not a denier, but I'm not really a believer just because I've never experienced anything paranormal. I've never experienced I've never seen a ghost, right? Like, and nothing has ever whispered to me in the night. Sometimes I wake up screaming bloody murder because my 5-year-old is just like right next to my head. Oh my gosh, parents. That's what they don't prepare you for. They do not prepare you for being woken up at 4 a.m. by a tiny voice that's just like, Mom. Hey, Mom. Oh, God. God. What? Can I play the Nintendo? Fine, just go play the Nintendo. Just don't ever do that again. Oh my gosh. It happens all the time. And it's terrifying every time. It's never not terrifying. It's never not terrifying. So that's the closest thing I've ever experienced to like a haunted. And my house is haunted by children and cats. I hear bumps in the night constantly all night. It's just Kevin just running around. He's got the zoomies. It's all good. So I guess that's why it doesn't really affect me too much. That being said, when they said things like, don't look in Peggy the doll's eyes, or she might get a little cranky, I said, yes, sir. I will follow those rules. So Peggy the doll is apparently the most haunted doll ever to exist. And they have a room where she is, and she's all in shadow. And then when you walk in, you have to say, hello, Peggy. You have to greet her. And then when you leave, you have to say, goodbye, Peggy. Or else, icky stuff, I guess. Just icky stuff. I don't know. She like follows you home. She just possesses you. I don't know. But, dude, Peggy, my girl, she's seeing like what, 200 plus tourists a day? Like, does she really have time to haunt every single one of us? You know, doesn't she have other things to do? So I don't know what my girl Peggy's life is like, but like, you know, we went in there, we're like, yo, what's up, Peggy? How's it hanging? You know, you live in large, taking charge. What's up, Peggy? And then they turn on the light. She's like, and they have like a spirit box in there, like, Mike. And it's just making like, it sounds like Kevin when he's about to throw up, right? When you're like laying in bed and you hear your cat and the cat's like, and then and then your cat pukes out just a foot long barf, right? How did that much come out of you? So it sounded like Kevin about to barf, just coming out of this spirit box, which apparently is some kind of technology that they've developed that is supposed to like be a portal between like the spirit world and like our world, and like the spirits can like talk to us through the box, I guess. I don't know. They didn't really explain that part, but it was like, yeah, it was a cross between when Kevin's about to barf and when you go to the dentist and then they put that vacuum in your mouth and they're like, close your lips around it. And you're like, okay. And they're like, great. That'll be $1,700 for your dental work. Oh gosh. Yeah. So I didn't look Peggy in the eyes because who's going to risk it? Who wants to risk it? I ain't risking it. Sean claims that he did. Whatever. He's probably a liar. So again, I'm going to respect all this stuff. I don't know if I believe in it, but I'm going to show it the proper respect. So I greeted Peggy. I'm like, yo, what's up, Peggy? They turn on the light. Her eyes go up. I don't look Peggy in the eyes. I'm not going to look her in the eyes. I kind of did that thing where like I'm like smiling and I'm like uncomfortable, right? Like, I'm not scared, but like I'm uncomfortable. And I'm like kind of like, like she's like, if the camera is Peggy, I'm just like smiling and kind of like looking that way, but like talking to Peggy. Hi, Peggy. Hi, I'm nice. I'm nice. And I don't want to hurt you, and you should not hurt me or haunt me. And I'm not going to look you in the eyes, but I think you look really nice today. You look really pretty. So anyway, can we be done now? And look, I swear for like a split second, that spirit box was like, and I was like, is that going to say Lisa? Because if that says Lisa, I'm out of here. I'm out of here. I don't know if I can find a way out of my own house that I live in, because I live here now, and it's like 3 or 4 stories, and it's got a satanic basement, and it's got so many rooms and bookshelves and scary things. It has a I don't know if I can say gypsy caravan. They said it, not me. It's part of the display. It's got all sorts. It's got like hallways and bookshelves. I don't know how to get out of my own house where I live now, and I have to pay a mortgage because I live here because I've been here for 3 hours. But I'm out of there. Peggy says, Lisa, I'm out. I'm not here for a doll talking to me. I'm just not. The museum is totally worth it, but you got to remember it's super long. It is. I would say it's too long. I think the normal ticket should be like an hour tour, and then the VIP tour should be like maybe the 2-hour tour. If you're like super into it, that's fine. But an hour, what probably would have been just fine for me. You saw the like Ed Gaines room. He's like the guy who inspired Texas Chainsaw Massacre. You saw some stuff from like the Natalie Wood boat where she mysteriously drowned. Just crazy stuff like that, right? It's a great museum. It's a great museum. The way it is set up, the way it's set dressed, it is so fantastic. But the haze machine's got to go. The haze machine has got to go. That was the worst smell I've ever smelled in my life. And I don't know if they did it on purpose to like make me extra uneasy, and maybe it's supposed to smell like death. I don't know. But it was the worst smell I've ever smelled. And it like that kind of actually ruined the experience a little bit, because I'm trying to be scared by the spooky stuff, but I'm just like, jeez, it was like theater. It definitely smelled like theater smoke that had gone bad. I don't know if theater smoke like goes bad or like, expires, but it definitely smelled like that. And like, maybe you should check that. So anyway, it's a great museum. Let me see where we're at. Okay. So yeah, it's a great museum. You might faint. You might bleed from your eyes and your nose. You might lay an egg. I don't know. That's a risk you're willing to take to get a free t-shirt. And I got my free t-shirt and didn't bring any demons home, which is great. And the tour was too long, but it was awesome. And if you like that kind of stuff, you should absolutely go. So, yeah. The Haunted Museum. I live here now. That is what I kept thinking. I live here. I've been here so long. I live here. Just forward my mail. Like, let the DMV know. I live here now, and now I'm responsible for this place. What's up, Kev? Okay, so we're gonna go from the Haunted Museum to another supposedly haunted location called the Magic Castle in LA. And I have a great story about this. How dumb did these glasses look on me, by the way? Hold on, I'm gonna look. Okay, they're not too bad. I'm gonna keep wearing them. I kind of like them. So not the Haunted Mansion Castle. What am I talking about? The Magic Castle. The Magic Castle in Los Angeles is a magician's hangout. You are only allowed to go to the Magic Castle in Los Angeles if you are a magician or if you're besties with a magician. If you are invited by a magician, then you can go. If you're a magician and you're like in the little like magicians league club, I don't know. If you're in their little like guild, maybe that sounds like a word they would use. If you're in the magician's guild, then you can go there. But if you're just a peasant who don't know nothing about magic and don't know anybody who does magic, you can't go. You can look at it from the outside and be like, man, that place looks cool. Well, you can't come in. That's what the magician at the door will yell at you. So I'm friends with an incredible magician in town named Jen Kramer, and she's like the only female magician in town. She's incredible. She kind of rose to, she's had a show here in Vegas for so many years, and she does really well in Vegas, but I don't know how much the world knows about her, but she kind of gained a little bit of fame when Whitney Cummings, the female comedian, Whitney Cummings, she has a podcast, and apparently like during COVID, she was like going off about how there are no female magicians, and so many people tagged Jen Kramer that she was like, I need to meet this Jen Kramer. I'm going somewhere with this story, so just stay with me. This is not a 2-hour tour through a haunted museum. This is just my podcast, which is about to end in like 4 minutes, so just stay with me. It's a short drive podcast. Your drive's coming to an end. Viewer discretion advised. So she goes on Whitney's podcast, and they talk about her being a magician, and then Whitney gets like really drunk. And apparently in a portion of the podcast that Jen never saw, Whitney brings over Jen's boyfriend, Dylan, who I love Dylan. I actually met Dylan before I met Jen. And Dylan, Whitney's so drunk, and she's like, so when are you guys gonna get married? And Dylan's like, I actually really want it to be special, and I'm trying to, figure out the best way to do that. And Whitney's like, can I be involved? Can I do it? She's joking later. She's like, of course I had to insert myself into your guys' special moment. She's like, can I help? Can I help with the engagement? So I didn't even know that happened. So fast forward like many months, I've been friends with Jen and Dylan for a couple years now, and we go to dinner with them, and we like share all these great stories, and we really like connect with them, and we're like, man, like we really like have bonded with this couple. Like I love Jen and Dylan. Like we all are very similar. And after that dinner, about couple weeks later, they text me and Sean, and they're like, hey, we would like to invite you guys to a special event at the Magic Castle. It's like a special filming at the Magic Castle in LA. We're going to provide the Airbnb, and just so come out. Like the trip is on us. Like come out and come to this cool event. And we're like, awesome. We don't even question it. We're like, we don't know what this is about, but if it's Jen, we're in. We want to be we want to go to the Magic Castle. Are you kidding me? It sounds awesome. I only know one magic trick. And I don't have a rubber band, so I can't show you. It's the one where like it jumps from these two fingers to these two fingers. Yeah, kids mostly do it, and me. Kids do it, and me. So anyway, we go to the Magic Castle, and there's a dress code. You have to dress fancy to get into the Magic Castle, and they are so serious about it. Like if you take if men take their like jacket off, like security will seriously like come over and be like, you need to put your jacket back on. They are serious, which I love that. And also you're not allowed to have cell phones. So you're forced to dress fancy and live in the moment. And man, that's what it used to be like, right? And I'm so into that. So anyway, Jen brings us into this like itty bitty tiny little intimate theater inside the Magic Castle. And she's giving like a little presentation, and I'm like sitting in the front row, and I'm listening to Jen, and then she brings out Whitney Cummings, and I'm like, oh dang, it's Whitney. So Whitney comes out, and Whitney's like 2 feet in front of me, and Jen is 2 feet in front of me, and I'm right in the front, and Jen is like, hey Whitney, I want you to help me with this magic act, and she like unrolls this all these cards, right, like this hanging bag of cards 1 through 6, and she's like, Whitney, I want you to pick one of these cards for me. And Whitney's not sure what to do, and she's cracking a couple jokes, and she's super funny, and then she finally decides on picking one. And Jen is like, man, I am so glad that you picked one. And Jen slides out the card, and on the back of the card it says, get engaged. And on all the other cards, when she turns the bag of cards around, they all say, break up. So immediately, everybody in the audience is like, oh, what's happening right now? And sure enough, Dylan comes out from around the corner and proposes to Jen and says like the sweetest speech. I'm like tearing up. We're all just like, ah. We're all doing the like, oh my gosh, like gasp girl face, just like, oh my God. And then she says, I do, and then I will marry you, and then they put the ring on, and then they kiss, and it's like super, super sweet. And we did not know this was gonna happen, and neither did Whitney, so she's also like in total shock. And then and then after that, the whole thing just turns into a party. We party at the Magic Castle, we go see a bunch of different magicians at the Magic Castle, and then we all go to our Airbnb, which turns out to be a second castle. There is a castle in LA that you can just rent for the night. That was a hiccup. Pay no attention to that. So we stayed at we started at a castle, and then we went to another castle, and we were playing beer pong, and we were doing shots, and we went on the hot tub on the roof, and it was such an awesome time. And I should link to the full YouTube video. They filmed the whole thing, like the reactions. They put me like front and center because they know I have a very expressive face. They knew they were going to get a good reaction out of me, and they sure did. And it was very natural, and it was very genuine because I was so happy for them. But anyway, yeah, if you come to Vegas, you got to go to Jen Kramer's magic show, and you got to go to Zak Bagans Haunted Museum because they are both phenomenal must-dos. You must do them. So congrats to Jen and Dylan on their engagement. Congrats to Zak Bagans on all of your ghosts that you've collected and your demons. Good job. Good job on that. Also, why can glass contain spirits? All like the most haunted things they put in a glass box, and I'm like, but why? Why they can't get through glass? They can like enter a portal into our world, but then like sand, they can't get through it. God dang it, they put glass around me. Shoot. I was gonna haunt the shit out of this person, and now I can't because I'm in this glass box. Dang it. I bet that makes the spirit so mad. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. It's been 60 episodes. I can't even believe it's been that many episodes. Go to the merch store, buy some merch. I got a great hoodie in there that people are really enjoying. It's cold outside. You should get one of those. So buy the merch. Subscribe on Instagram. I really appreciate all my subscribers. And yeah, come back next week, and we'll do more of this, whatever this show is that I just keep doing. We're going to do more of this. I love you guys so much. All right, so here's Can you focus? Thank you, camera. Here's the magic trick. Ooh, it's on these two fingers, but then look, it's on these two fingers. Did you see that? I'll do it again. It's on these two fingers, but then look, look, god dang it, this rubber band is too big, hold on. Okay, look, it's on these two fingers, and then, it's on these two fingers. Da-da-da-da.